around people does not necessarily translate into not being alone. And so I'll just dive right into Ecclesiastes chapter 1. The very first chapter of this book speaks on how everything is vanity. So basically, we're saying what a meaningless life. Everything passes away eventually. Poof. Just like paper. Okay, so it's like everything you're working for, the round the clock, the hustle, chasing the money, chasing the bag, the success, the fame, whatever it is, everything, your entire being just vanishes, just goes away. So I'm speaking from Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 6, where it talks about how the wind blows from the north, the south, and back again, and then it's just a reputation of what has been and what will continue to be, the way the water flows, the way the sun rises and sets, and everything is just like exactly the way it has been, and it keeps repeating itself. It's like events that have happened before and are going to happen again. It's just like a repetition. What was done before we done again. So basically, people were born, they grow up, get married, have kids, give birth to the kids who eventually get married, have kids, give birth to kids. But it has been before, it still is now, and it continues to modernize life. I'd like you to hold on to the thought that everything is meaningless, everything is vanity, everything eventually passes away. Just hold on to that thought, and then let's just dive right into this Ecclesiastes 2:18. So imagine a man that is so wealthy, has multiple streams of income, gathered his wealth, spent wisely, sleepless nights, and all of that. All that basic struggle to make ends meet. After doing all of this, the same, nothing I ever worked for made sense to me because I know that I would have to leave it to my successor. It might be wise or foolish, and you do not have control over that. What's the point of all the struggle and the hustle when I do not even know if what I've gathered, what I've worked so hard, what I've worked sleepless night to accumulate will be used with that value or will be used wastefully? And you do not have control over those that come after you or those that will handle what you have gathered over time. So we've seen scenarios where a person amasses so much wealth or builds a house, and at the time the person built this house, it is like heaven to the person. The person is feeling like they've made a major achievement in life, only for the successor to just see the house and demolish it because it does not fit their taste. It is not their thing, and they want something, a different structure erected there. So you do not know who comes after you, what will be after you. So while chasing the back, this is what you should do. I love this chapter. In Ecclesiastes chapter 3, it talks about times and seasons. And times and seasons are really important as humans. We need to understand that there is time for everything. There is time for everything. There's a season for everything. And in this particular chapter of Ecclesiastes, it emphasizes that there's a time for mourning, a time for dancing, a time to tear down, a time to mend, and all of that. So basically, giving this illustration and trying to emphasize on the importance of times and seasons. And I know that we all have times where we find ourselves in certain seasons and times of our lives. It's just a reminder that these times and seasons should be taken into cognizance. It's important to understand that nothing lasts forever. It's not an everlasting thing. So whatever it is you're going through, and I'm coming from that angle, understand that no matter how long it takes, it will eventually end. Everything eventually ends, and a new phase begins. So whether you're in whatever season you're in, make the most of it, and also make the most impact you can while you're here. Understanding having the understanding that it won't be here forever. That we should hold on to the thoughts that everything passes away, and that you could struggle and chase the bag, and then at the end of the day, the people who succeed you may not give that much value to what you've gathered as much as you did. It's just life. So that being said, what should you do? What you should do, according to Ecclesiastes chapter 3, it says, so I realized that all we can do is do the best while we're alive, be happy and do the best while we're here. We should rejoice in our labor, rejoice in the works that we've done, things that we've done, just be happy while at it. So whether it is that you're gathering wealth or you're making progress in your place in your career and all that, you should have that contentment and that peace with it. Whatever it is you're doing, massive wealth, growth, success, career growth, whatever it is. First of all, be happy, be content in that. Be happy, first of all. And then, in addition to being happy, do the best you can. That's just the best that can happen. Being happy, understanding that this is a gift from God. Having that gratitude, going through life with that sense of gratitude. And that goes to chapter 4, verse 9, emphasizes the importance of community, of partnership, of friendship, of relationships. And you can look at it from the angle of marriage, of friendship, community, and I think basically it's just do not walk in isolation. Do not have to walk alone, because this is what it says: the two are better than one because they have a good reward for their labor. It just also says in certain versions that two are better than one because they're able to work more effectively. One falls, the other can pick the other up. And it also says that woe to the person who is alone, who falls and then there's no one to pick them up because they're walking alone. It's just talking about how companionship, emotional support you get from companionship, the ideas, the mind-blowing ideas that come together, effectiveness and efficiency that comes from working in community, in collaboration and partnership. So whether it is a business, work environment, working together produces better results than just working alone. Now, I'm not saying that working alone you are not efficient. I'm just saying that when you work in synergy, when you work in unity with people, you're able to produce more results. And this is just to encourage us to, build better friendships, better community, better teams, and such that we're able to collaborate better and yield better results. God places people to help us navigate through the season. And this particular book that I'm reading was not an initial thought. It wasn't something that I wanted to read at this time, but it was something that I needed in this season. And so I don't know what you need in this season, but I just pray that you find people, helpers of destiny, people that will be there along the way to hold your hands through. But I like to also emphasize that we are not always our best selves. There are times that we go through tough times, through tough seasons, and it's really going to be unfortunate if those times happen and you find yourself all alone. So it's important to have people, the gift of people, I like to call it the gift of people. It's good to have people around you that can hold your hand through these tough times and tough seasons. And so you shouldn't neglect community, do not neglect family, do not neglect companionship, do not neglect friendships. It's not just about having people around you, it's having people that actually count, because you can have a crowd and still be alone. And it is very possible to be in a relationship and still be lonely, in the sense that you're just there in the world, you're together but you're not actually together. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if it is. So being around people does not necessarily translate together to produce better results. So you are in the midst of people, but not with the people. Oh, how do I make that make sense? You are in the midst of people, but you're not necessarily with those people. So it's important to not just gather crowd, but actually have that relationship with those people around you, such that it becomes helpful in your productivity and in also yielding better results. I'll just dive right into chapter 5, mainly about promises. And I like to emphasize this. You remember all those uncles and aunties that have been have made promises to you as a kid, and they're like, if you do this, okay, common thing, you top your class, you come first in class, first position in class, you get this, maybe a bicycle or something, or a phone, things like that. Some big promises, and then they do not fulfill it. Mm. Now I'm coming for you, for you, that auntie that likes to make promises. Now this chapter is talking about people who make promises and do not fulfill them. That's a terrible thing. So it's important that if you must make a promise, fulfill them. It is better not to make a promise than to make a promise and not fulfill it. Do not just be in a hurry to make promises that you will not keep. And then in chapter 5, it says in verse 2, think before you speak and don't make rash promises to God. He is up in heaven, you're here on earth, so do not say something that you do not have to. Do not say more than you should. So, do not make rash promises. Do not. Be careful of your utterances to God. And so when you are saying things like, if I get a job, I will do this. If I do this, if God helps me with this, I will do this and that. So you make promises to God and say, if God does this for me, this for society or with people around. And then eventually your prayers are answered. It happens, but you do not remember to fulfill your promise. My sister, in this chapter, it emphasizes that when you make promises to God, fulfill them quickly. Let's be careful. It is better to not make a promise than to make a promise and not fulfill it. That being said, I like to stop here, but not before I stop. I like to tell you that I'll be back with the second half of the book of Ecclesiastes. Yes, I'll be back with the second half of the book of Ecclesiastes. Now, I'm stopping at chapter 5 because I want to continue from 6 to the end. And it's going to be super interesting because, trust me, the reason why I said this book should be read at least once in a lifetime by every human, an emphasis on every human, the reason why I said is about to be revealed. And I feel like if you have read this before, you should drop your favorite from the first 5 chapters of Ecclesiastes. Drop your favorite, drop the insight, drop what stands out for you, drop what really resonates with you from what I've said so far. And I like to leave you with a question. If everything will pass away, if everything eventually comes to an end, and if at the end of the day, everything is vanity, what then should we place our emphasis, our priorities in? It is better to invest in things that will stand the test of time. Place so much importance in. Does it have an eternal value? Is it something that will last? Is it something that will end as you end? So, that being said, I'd like to say thank you for watching The Re-Inspires and see you again in the next video. I cannot wait to share with you the second half of Ecclesiastes.